Welcome back to Healthier Daily. You know, I was talking to a patient of mine, Mrs. Miller, and she said something that I think almost all of us can relate to. She said, Ben, I go to bed feeling like a normal human being, but I wake up feeling like a rusted tin man. My knees are stiff, my fingers won't bend, and it takes me an hour just to feel loose enough to walk the dog.
It is the morning struggle bin. And for many of our friends over 60, it feels like an unavoidable part of getting older. But here is the secret that most people don't know: your body actually has a nightly maintenance crew. While you are dreaming, your body is working overtime to fix your joints, rebuild your cartilage, and wash away the inflammation from the day.
But here is the catch. If that maintenance crew arrives and finds your body filled with inflammation, it's like they're trying to work during a giant storm. They can't get anything done. That is why you wake up feeling stiff and sore. The repair work never happened because the fire of inflammation was burning too hot all night long.
That is exactly why what you eat in that final hour before bed is so important. Most people reach for a sugary cookie or some salty chips, but those are like throwing gasoline on that inflammation fire. What if you could eat 3 specific dry fruits that act like a green light for your repair crew?
Today we are showing you the 3 bedtime healers. These are delicious, chewy fruits that contain natural pain switch chemicals and even the exact same hormones your body uses to fall into a deep healing sleep. We are talking about turning your bed into a recovery center instead of a place where you just wake up stiff.
We are starting with a fruit that is sweet and rich in a mineral that acts like a natural muscle relaxer, the date. Most people think they are too sweet, but when you eat them the right way, they actually help your body repair your nerves and joints while you sleep.
And wait until you see number 2. It's a nut that looks like a brain, but it's actually the building block for the cushion in your joints. We're going to show you how a small handful can lubricate your knees while you're in a deep sleep.
This isn't about taking a heavy pill that leaves you groggy in the morning. This is about using nature's midnight medicine to make sure you wake up feeling light, flexible, and ready for the day.
Before we reveal our first bedtime hero, I want to ask our Healthier Daily family, do you find that your joint pain is worse in the morning, or does it flare up at the end of a long day? Go to the comments and type morning or evening. It helps us understand your rhythm, and if you want more tips on aging with strength, hit that subscribe button. Let's get that nightly mechanic back to work together. All right, let's get started with our first bedtime hero, the date. Now, Dr. Hinohara, I know what some of our friends at home are thinking. They're looking at that sticky sweet fruit and thinking, Ben, isn't that just a bunch of sugar before bed? Won't that make me restless? But for someone with achy joints, a date is actually a tiny mineral. Gold mine, isn't it?
It really is. You see, Ben, the secret to a pain-free morning starts with magnesium. I like to call magnesium the master relaxer. Most of us over 60 are actually running low on this mineral. When your magnesium is low, your muscles stay tight and guarded all night. They pull on your joints like a tight rubber band. But just 2 or 3 dates give you a healthy dose of magnesium that tells those muscles it's okay to let go now.
And it's not just about the muscles. Dates are packed with potassium too. Now think about your joints like a sponge. If you've eaten salt during the day, your joints can get waterlogged and swollen overnight. That potassium in the dates helps flush out that extra salt and fluid. It's like draining the swamp around your knees and hips, so that when you wake up, you don't feel that heavy, tight pressure.
But the real magic happens in the brain, Ben. Dates help your body produce something called serotonin. This is your feel-good chemical. When your serotonin is up, your brain actually turns down the volume on your pain signals. So while you're sleeping, you aren't tossing and turning from those sharp shooting pains in your back or hands. You're getting that deep level 4 sleep where the real repair work happens.
Now I want to share a healthier daily secret recipe that has changed the lives of so many of my patients. I call it golden date milk. If you're someone who struggles with bone-on-bone pain or very stiff fingers, this is your new best friend. You take a cup of warm, unsweetened almond milk, which has its own calcium, and you blend in 2 pitted dates that you've softened in water.
And here is the turbo boost at a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric and a pinch of cinnamon. Now, you have a powerhouse. The turmeric cools down the fire of inflammation. The cinnamon keeps your blood sugar steady through the night. And the dates provide the minerals to repair the tissue. It's a warm, sweet, comforting hug for your joints.
I tell my patients to drink this about 30 to 60 minutes before they put their head on the pillow. It gives your body just enough time to start circulating those healing molecules. You'll find that you drift off faster, and more importantly, you won't feel like a rusted tin man when the alarm goes off.
Just remember our senior rule: stick to 2 or 3 dates. We want the medicine, not a sugar spike. And because they are a little sticky, make sure you give your teeth a good brush after your golden milk. We want to save your joints, but we want to keep your smile bright too.
So we've relaxed the muscles and drained the fluid with our dates. But wait until you hear about number 2. This is the nut that I call the joint architect. It actually contains the exact same sleep hormone your brain makes, but it uses it to build a bridge to your recovery.
We are talking about walnuts. We're going to show you why these brain-shaped nuts are the secret to rebuilding the cushion between your bones while you're fast asleep.
Before we reveal the joint architect, I have a question. Do you ever find yourself waking up in the middle of the night because of a throb or an ache in your joints? If that's you, go to the comments and type "sleep through." We want to help you get that full night of healing. All right, we are moving on to number 2, and this is a food that I'm sure you have in your kitchen right now, the walnut. Now, Dr. Hinohara, most people know walnuts are good for the brain because, well, they look exactly like a little brain. But for a senior who is worried about bone-on-bone pain, the walnut is actually the master architect for their joints, isn't it?
It is a structural wonder. Ben, you see, the most important thing for an arthritic joint is the omega-3 fatty acids. Think of these as the oils of life. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of these oils. While you sleep, these omega-3s act like a lubrication crew. They seep into the joint lining and help make that grinding sensation disappear. But that's only half of the story.
That's right. The other half is something that shocked me when I first read the research from Harvard. Walnuts actually contain melatonin. Now, most of us think of melatonin as just a sleep hormone that tells our brain to go to bed. But in the joints, melatonin acts like a construction foreman. It tells your cells, okay, the body is resting. Now is the time to rebuild the collagen.
Exactly. Collagen is the cushion between your bones. If you don't have enough melatonin at night, your body can't build that cushion back up. By eating a few walnuts before bed, you are providing the blueprint melatonin and the building blocks omega-3s at the exact same time. It is a double-action repair kit that works while you are in dreamland.
I tell my healthier daily family to have about 7 walnut halves, that's roughly 1 ounce about an hour before sleep. I like to call this the lubrication handful. And here is a pro tip. Try to toast them very lightly in a pan for just 2 minutes. It releases those aromatic oils and makes them easier for an older stomach to digest.
But Ben, we must be careful. Many people buy barbecue or candied walnuts. Those are filled with salt and sugar that will actually cause more swelling. You want the raw, unsalted ones. And because walnuts are full of those precious oils, you must keep them in the refrigerator. If a walnut tastes bitter, those healing oils have rusted and they won't help your joints.
That is such a great senior hack. Refrigerate your medicine. When you have that small handful of fresh walnuts, you're essentially giving your knees and hips a, all right, we have arrived at number 3, and this one is a personal favorite of mine. I call it the small but mighty healer. We are talking about dried tart cherries. Now, Dr. Hinohara, if you walk into a grocery store, you'll see lots of cherries, sweet cherries, black cherries, maraschino cherries. But for someone whose hands are throbbing or whose back is aching, we specifically need the tart kind, don't we?
It must be the tart cherry, Ben. There is a very specific reason for this. These cherries are loaded with a special group of pigments called anthocyanins. That is the fancy name for what gives them that deep, beautiful red color. But in the world of medicine, these pigments are famous for one thing. They are enzyme blockers.
And this is where it gets really interesting for our friends over 60. You see, when you go to the pharmacy and buy a bottle of ibuprofen, that medicine works by blocking a specific pain switch in your body called the COX2 enzyme. Well, believe it or not, the molecules inside a tart cherry target that exact same switch. It's like nature looked at our joint pain and said, here, let me give you a natural version of that pharmacy pill.
The research is truly stunning, Ben. A study from the Boston University Arthritis Center found that people who ate tart cherries regularly reported 25% less pain in just 2 weeks. 25%. That is a massive difference when you're trying to climb a flight of stairs or just get out of your favorite armchair. And the best part, unlike those pills, these cherries won't bother your stomach lining or put stress on your kidneys.
And let's talk about the midnight repair again. Tart cherries are one of the only natural food sources of melatonin. We mentioned this with walnuts, but cherries have a very concentrated amount. When you eat them 45 minutes before bed, you aren't just telling your brain to sleep, you are giving your joints a time-release pain reliever that works for 8 hours straight.
I tell my patients to try the tart cherry nut smoothie. This is a wonderful treat for the evening. Take about 1/3 of a cup of dried tart cherries. Make sure they are unsweetened. That is very important. Soak them in a little water for 10 minutes to make them soft. Then blend them with a cup of oat milk and a tablespoon of chia seeds.
Why the chia seeds? Because they have those omega-3s we talked about. When you combine the enzyme blocker from the cherries with the lubrication from the seeds, you are creating a super tonic for your joints. It tastes like a delicious dessert, but it's actually going into your knees and fingers and mopping up the inflammation while you dream.
And here is a healthier daily shopping tip. When you buy these at the store, you must check the label. Many companies take these healthy cherries and drench them in high fructose corn syrup or sunflower oil. If you see added sugar on the label, put it back. Sugar is the gasoline that makes inflammation burn hotter. You want the ones that say, one-ingredient tart cherries. They will be a little tangy, a little sour, but that sour taste is the medicine working.
I always say the sourer the better for your joints. If you can stick with that third of a cup serving every night, you are building a cumulative shield. Inflammation doesn't stand a chance against a consistent cherry habit. I've seen people who couldn't even make a fist in the morning start to regain their grip strength in just a month.
We have our 3 bedtime heroes, the dates for muscle relaxation, the walnuts for architectural repair, and the cherries for blocking the pain switch. But Ben, we have one final bonus trick that isn't about food at all. It's a physical habit that drains the swamp of inflammation so these fruits can work twice as fast.
We are talking about the 5-minute bedtime roll. We're going to show you how a simple movement before you pull up the covers can stop fluid from settling in your joints overnight.
Before we show you the bedtime roll, I have a question. Have you ever tried tart cherry juice or dried cherries before? If you felt that Red Power worked for you, go to the comments and type cherry. Let's show the others that this natural therapy is the real deal. Midnight maintenance shift. You're giving them the grease and the cushion they need so you don't wake up with that stiff as a board feeling. But we aren't done yet. If walnuts are the architect, our next fruit is the pain switch blocker. It's a tiny red fruit that tastes like a treat, but it targets the exact same enzymes as a prescription painkiller.
We are talking about dried tart cherries. We're going to show you why these red gems are the most powerful natural tool we have for stopping that morning throb.
Before we reveal the red gem, I want to ask, do you prefer your walnuts plain, or do you like to mix them into something like a little bit of Greek yogurt? Tell us your favorite way to snack in the comments. It helps give our other friends new ideas for their nightly routine.
All right, we have our 3 healing fruits ready on the nightstand. But Dr. Hinohara, we often talk about how inflammation is like dirty water that gets trapped inside our joints during the day. If we just go to sleep without moving that water, it sits there all night and stiffens like concrete. That's why we need our bonus trick, the 5-minute bedtime drain.
It is so important. Ben, I tell my patients, don't let the swamp settle. When you've been on your feet all day, gravity pulls inflammatory fluids down into your knees and ankles. If you don't drain them before bed, your nightly repair crew has to swim through all that trash just to get to work. But you can fix this with a simple foam roller or even a rolled-up bath towel.
This is so easy to do while you're watching the evening news. Just spend 2 minutes gently rolling the back of your calves and the front of your thighs. You aren't trying to win a workout, you're just massaging those tissues. This pressure acts like a pump that pushes that old stagnant fluid out of the joint and back into your circulation, so your body can flush it away.
And if you don't have a roller, just lie on your back and do some air cycles with your legs or gentle ankle circles. This movement distributes the oil, what we call synovial fluid, evenly across the joint. When you combine this drainage with the omega-3s from your walnuts and the enzyme blockers from your cherries, you are setting the stage for a miracle in the morning.
So let's look at the healthier daily nightly checklist. We want to make this as simple as your favorite pair of slippers. 1 hour before bed, enjoy your golden date milk or your tart cherry smoothie. This flips the pain switch off. 45 minutes before bed, have your lubrication handful of 7 walnuts. This sends the architects in to build the cushion. Right before the covers, spend 5 minutes on your bedtime drain movements. This clears the path for the repair work.
If you do this for just 7 days, I promise you, you will start to wake up with the spring in your step. You will notice that the first walk to the kitchen doesn't feel like a struggle. You will feel lighter because you aren't carrying that heavy burden of inflammation through the night.
I want you to imagine a life where you don't have to gear up for the morning, where you can just wake up, stretch, and feel good in your own skin. That isn't a dream, it's a reality that starts with these 3 fruits and a little bit of intention before you close your eyes.
Your body is the most amazing healing machine ever created. It wants to repair your arthritis. It wants to ease your pain. You just have to give it the midnight medicine it's been asking for.
If today's video gave you a new plan for a better morning, please hit that like button. It helps us share these bedtime secrets with other seniors who are tired of being rusted tin men every morning. And make sure to subscribe to our Healthier Daily family. We are here to help you live your best, most flexible life at any age.
Our final question for this series: are you going to start your golden date milk or your cherry smoothie tonight? Tell us in the comments. We want to celebrate your first night of deep healing sleep.
Sleep well, dream of movement, and we will see you in the next video.
Stay flexible and stay hopeful, everyone.